Hello viewer, how are you? Welcome to your favorite educational channel Experience Learning. Today we are going to discuss about the brief of Java, and we will have a series of lectures on Java programming language, and that will be divided into two types of video you can see. One is on the theoretical and another hands-on programming. This is beneficial for the engineering students as well as a code lover and BCA, MCA student, BSc Computer Science, MSc. So, okay, I think you can learn Java from scratch. Let's start. Okay, welcome. So this is also beneficial for the IT aspirants also. Okay, so this thing that nowadays, say you have A company's mobile, your friend have B company's mobile like this, but you and your friend can at a time watch a YouTube video, isn't it? So that means not like that your friends and your devices architecture is same, not like this, but still you both of you can see you're going to watch the YouTube video. What happened nowadays, we know that though there are different kinds of operating system, different kinds of processor, still we are able to access the data or anything, the application which are in the remote server, and we can easily run in our device. So the main goal is write once and run anywhere. This is the main goal. Write once, run anywhere. Java has brought a revolution in programming and in the process has changed the world. Though Java is associated with internet programming, but this is not limited in that regard. Java is a very powerful programming, general purpose programming language. Initially, Java was known as Oak. Java was known as Oak, and in 1995 it was renamed as Java, the well-known Java, but initially it was Oak. Say we have three types of device, like one is AC, microwave and toaster. And we can understand that most of the device, that means this kind of devices, has a controller, isn't it? We know how the AC operates, how the microwave operates. So there is a controller. So for doing this one, to write the software, every time the programmer have to write the code for different types of electronic device like this. Say a language A, it was written, and the software which is only applicable for AC, not applicable for microwave and toaster. If make to the language applicable for the microwave and the toaster, that needs to make another compiler for it. So the designing the compiler, it's expensive as well as it's very time consuming. So the primary goal of Java was write the code once and it can be used anywhere. So there is a concept of platform independent language. Okay. Initially, it was a primary goal to design the language which will be platform independent. And at that time, the WWW, that means World Wide Web, was also actually flourishing, and the Java developer can also visualize the importance of the platform independent language in internet also. Java is a closest successor of C and C++. The Java syntax are very close to C language, and the object-oriented model is taken from C++. So if you know C++ very well, I guess here the learning of Java, it's not a very big issue to you. You can easily learn Java. Now, why we need the object-oriented programming language, I have already discussed in the playlist. You will see in the C++ video that why we shifted from procedural programming to object-oriented programming. If you again want this video, please write it in comment. Now, we are going to discuss that how it becomes the platform independent. Now, think that a C++ source code, compiler, and executable machine dependent code. So which is specifically for the particular machine. Now in case of Java, you can see, say Java source code, and now after compilation it will become a bytecode. See this, the bytecode is a platform independent intermediate code. The bytecode is platform independent intermediate code. Now say we have Windows and the corresponding hardware, and here we have Linux, there is another Mac OS like this, and hardware. The machine is different hardware or processor and different operating system. Just for now, remember that JVM, Java Virtual Machine. What is JVM? I will discuss about it in detail later. Just now remember that Java Virtual Machine is one which makes the program run. Okay. So after this, that means after compilation, we get a bytecode which is platform independent, and JVM makes it, interprets it in a platform dependent machine executable code. First, after compilation, we will get the bytecode, and then interpreter makes the machine dependent code, and JVM helps in this. So in this way, you can see that we are getting the platform independence. How? From bytecode, then interpreter, finally executable code. Now remember one thing, in case of Java, everything goes into class. How? First of all, say I have a Java source code, say test.java. The source code test.java. After compilation, we will get test dot class. A class file will be generated. What is the class file? This class file is actually the bytecode. Okay, this class file, when the source code is written after compilation, you can compile it Java C. After compilation, we will get a class file, and this class file is actually the bytecode. Now the JVM will run the code. What happened? Actually, JVM loads the class file to run it. So, as I told you that everything goes into class. So, first we see that when the source file will be compiled, a .class file will be generated. Now, in case of, if you think about the C++ language, though it is an object-oriented programming language, if you want to write a simple like hello world, or here I have just written a statement Java experience learning. To write this, you can write it directly in the main. No need to write the class and all. But in case of Java, you have to write everything within a class. Everything will be written within a class. So that's why I have told you everything goes into class. Okay, so class test. Now here I have written public static void main and then string args. Now what is this? What is this? The main with this particular signature, I mean with this particular argument, and it will be void, that means it will not return anything, static and public. So actually the program's execution will be started from this main. You can have multiple main also, but execution will be started from this particular main. Now end of the class, you may or may not give the semicolon. This is optional for Java. In case of C++, this is mandatory. You have to give the semicolon end of the class definition, but here it is optional. Now, why it is public? Why we make it public? Because we know that the member which are public, it can be accessible outside of the class. So that's why make the main from where execution will be started. Actually JVM call the main, so it should be public. The code outside of the class can access it. So that's why it is public. Why it is static? Question is why it is static? If it is not static, see, this is a normal method and this is not static. Then to call the function, you have to create the object. So if object is not able to be created, the function is not able to be called. The method is not able to be called. And if the JVM cannot load it, how the object will be created? Isn't it? So there is a loop. If it is a normal method, think that object cannot be created, method cannot be called. And if JVM cannot load the main, how the object will be created? To break the loop, here it is static. So we know the static method can be called before the creation of object. That's why make the particular main as static. So it can be called before the object creation. And void means it will not return anything. Now it is string args. I will discuss about it in detail later, but just now I just want to say this is a array of object. What type of? String type. So in when the program you are going to run the code, you can write any number of comment there. You can write any number of comment there. So I will discuss about it later. Just remember, this is string of arguments. So here args is a variable. You can write your own name also. Array of string. Now, what is system.out.println? System is a predefined class. This is basically a final class, but what is final class and all, I will discuss about it later. Just now remember that system is a predefined class. Okay, what is the function of system? System provides the access to the system. In this system class has two types of stream. One is output stream and another one is input stream. Here we are using the output stream, that is out variable, which connect to the console. Here, which one is the console? We have we are just going to print it in the monitor. And print or println, you can use any of the method. This is a method. So this is class. This is, you can think it as a variable also, and this is method. And print method will take string as argument. Okay. So now, how it will be compiled? It will be compiled like Java C, Java compiler, test.java. The file name is given as say test.java, Java C test.java, and after compilation you will get test.class file. And when, how can you run this? Java test. Okay. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe the channel. Actually, your subscription motivates me. Thank you. Bye bye.